Hi and welcome back to Findersbeepers History Seekers, and this week it's back. So I'm doing the reviews of the videos. I did start doing it, people really liked it, and then I just stopped. I am sorry about the look at the devastation that is around me, but I am trying to get organised. I'm trying to get back to a place where it's me knowing what I'm doing, not having to rely on anyone, and just cracking on and getting videos out for you. I haven't even got the lights on. I literally forgotten to put the lights on. Let's put one on at least. Heads all over, but I'm trying to get focused. Like I said, I've got a massive idea for a video coming up. I'm just trying to work out how to do it at the moment. Now, just before we go any further, I have to say this week's video is sponsored. Yes, sponsored by MyHeritage, our good friends at MyHeritage, but that'll be coming up in a little bit. I sat for a week while I was on holiday, sort of down in the dumps, thinking, oh God, what am I going to do? The channel's going to fail. You saw the video, I was really upset, and I was really upset. However, I now see it as a way to push forward. And this is going to sound awful, but I've got no Andy holding me back. Now, that doesn't mean that Andy holds me back. It just means that he's time limited. I need to get out, do more stuff while I haven't got to wait round. So that's what I'm going to do. So this is looking back at this week's video. I am going to do some more historic ones as well. I don't mean like from the 1800s. I mean videos from the past. So you will see videos with Andy in that I'm looking back at, because I just want to enjoy some of these videos again and go through your comments. Then we can put stuff in there. We can involve you. And that's what I want to do. It's our channel. It's not just my channel. It's not Andy's as well. It's just everybody's. I want us all... I keep hitting that and it's doing my head in. I want us all to enjoy it. I want us all to have a laugh. So let's get into the video and let's take it to pieces and see what it was that we saw. Some of the things that you told me that I didn't know. And let's have a look at some other bits as well. When did these go off? I always like looking at the food just to see when they went off. There we go. They go out of date in 2025. Now, one of the first things you guys commented on was whether somebody else had been in that house recently. Now, the bread was one of the main things. I feel weird because that bread, that food is fresh. It was something that people talked about quite a lot, how it was fresh. Now, one person brought up the fact that if bread goes hard, it doesn't go mouldy, which I'd never really thought about. And it could be true, it could be right. But also, if you look next to the bread, something I didn't notice at the time, there's a half-eaten, what looks like a Bakewell tart. And I don't just mean, is it crispy, is it crispy? Oh, it's been there a bit. That's got no mould on it as well. So I think definitely somebody else had been in there quite recently. You guys seem to think the same. Whether it was a squatter, whether it was another explorer that just had a chill out and put some stuff down when he sort of had a chill on the bed, I don't know. But you guys seem to think it was a squatter. Oh, there's some Waitrose plum tomatoes. Let's see what the dates are on those. There's not really much dust on top. Let's see if I can see what the dates are on the bottom, look. 2024. Now, there was somebody living there, I found out, up until relatively recently, but we're talking maybe 2 years ago. You've got quite a new razor there. So it can't have been from them. So for me, it must be a squatter or somebody else staying there. Those jeans look wet. Like somebody's put them there to dry. And the arse on them's wet. Now, the first item that was really talked about in detail quite a lot by you guys was what I thought was a mangle. So it's got a double sort of like squishy thing on top. What is that? Is that a what is it? It's like a mangle, but not. And then the big sort of washing machine thing underneath. So you've got like some sort of boiler bit in there. Under here is like a tub. Now, somebody actually posted on our Facebook, and if you're not on our Facebook, get across, because you know what? You get to see so many more things behind the scenes. If you do like to see stuff that I find out afterwards, or see other people's comments that know a little bit more about things than me, that's the place to be. Facebook.com/Findersbeepers or something down like that. If you search us, you'll find us. But they put the advert on, an original advert for the washing machine-y thing that it was in the first place, and it was all built in. And you know what? They were really pretty. I would have one of those in my house today if I thought that I would do any washing with it, which I probably wouldn't. But it looks good. So yeah, loads of people commented on that. Some people sort of remembered having them in the house in the sort of 60s and 70s. So it is something that is before my time, but some of our viewers do actually remember, which I think is really, really cool. But they are quite a bizarre little item, and they were from I think the 40s or 50s. I'll put people's comments and they'll tell you. Really, really good to see sort of things like that just don't exist anymore. Right, before I go any further, I just need to explain, this isn't just like a carrot or some sort of strange dildo. It's a pinpointer because I've been doing a bit more metal detecting. I've been going out with Freddie and doing some metal detecting. So you never know, you might see some metal detecting videos coming up. We'll see. We'll see how I feel about it. I was never 100% sure I liked doing the metal detecting videos anyway. Let me know in the comments if you do want to see some, and whether you would rather have them like a midweek video on the main channel or stick them on their own channel. Let me know. How did I not even notice you get up there? Don't you wag your tail and look away from me with those eyes. Bear boy, what's this? What is it? What is it? Bear. So, you guys seem to be really, really pleased that Bear was in the video more and that he was there with me. Oh, it's the clock you're listening to, isn't it? Have you only just figured out it's a clock? One, for my safety, and two, because I think people just like seeing him in the main videos. Now, this is what I'm sorting out now. I've got all these cameras and his torches and things like that, and I am trying to sort it out for the next Explore to go out with Bear and have a good time and get his channel up and going again. I have sort of taken my foot off the pedal a little bit with his. We were expecting his channel to go in the national newspapers, and for some reason there was another big dog story that week and it just blew Bear's out of the water. So I was really gutted about that. I would have liked to have seen him in the newspapers, see that story go big and see his channel go massive. So get across to Beeper Bear on YouTube, help him out, get him some more subscribers. I think he's almost at 11,000 subscribers now. I want his channel to overtake ours. You were stood there and now you're on the bed. What are you looking for? Is it that little black cat in front of your face? Is that what you're looking for? Are you crazy, dog? It's just a tiny little black cat. It's not real. But yeah, you guys really enjoyed the fact that Bear was I was interacting with Bear more. He was having a laugh and I was showing him more, because it's so easy sometimes when it's just me and Andy to ignore Bear altogether and let him just do his thing. Hey, what is it? What is it? What you found? Go find it. Go find those rabbits. Where's those rabbits? There's no rabbits up there. I don't know what you're looking at. What are you wagging at? Because there's so much content, I have to really, really cut it down. This week's video was like 1 hour and 20 minutes long. And if Andy had been there, it would have been about 2 hours long. So therefore, I have to cut all the bits of Bear out and put them on his own channel. But maybe I'll integrate him a little bit more into the main channel at the moment. Right, I'm back again with myheritage.com. And you know what? I absolutely love it. I've been given access to Andy's family tree, which I don't know why that makes me feel a little bit naughty, but it does. But I just want to do something nice for him. I want to build this tree a little bit for him, get it up to having loads of extra things on there that he doesn't know about, and then it's a big surprise for when he comes back. Now, I was just gonna film it on here and show you, but have you seen how dirty my laptop is? It's absolutely filthy. It's been thrown in a bag and taken to Scotland, and it's got sand and all sorts on it. Right, so when I found Andy's family tree, this is how it was. So it's got him there, it's got his mum and dad, it's got his granddad on his mum's side, it's got his granddad and his grandma on his dad's side. It's great to link back to people the memories that Andy will have from those generations, and so there's a good chance he will remember them. Now, what I did from there is I actually pressed a button, and I wish I'd waited and done it and shown you, but there was a little quick button that you could press which linked it to somebody else's tree, and all these different results came up. So Wilfred Thompson, who was Andy's granddad, and then his father was Thomas Thompson. Now, it does get where obviously you're having to move about and have a look at the different levels of who's from when. It goes back as far as 1755. Then I found something that made it so much easier to work out who's who. Across the top here, you've got your family view, your pedigree view, your fan view, and then this one, which is a list view. And I find this one really good because it tells you who everybody is. So this is you, just in case you weren't sure that that's you. It tells you your father, your mother, your grandfather, and you can scroll down and find the right person that you're after. So if we go all the way back, there we go. So 1754, Anne Dobson, and it says that they're 6 generations back and they're a direct ancestor. So yeah, it gives you a list of all the different peoples and it tells you where they're from, and it gives you all the list of different bits of where they're from. That's weird, look. Your grandfather's cousin is from Mexborough. Now, I'm actually sat in Mexborough at the moment filming, so you can see the local connection is here. Another one from Mexborough, Hemmingfield, Sheffield, where I'm from. So there's loads and loads of different people within this tree that are all relatively local. So Andy's family hasn't really moved about in a great deal in that time. And then what I can do is I can start clicking down to each person. So for example, we go for his grandfather, and then we can go on and research this person. It shows you different things that potentially can be for him. So we already know that he was born in 1894, and somebody else's tree is here, and that has got a load of information, probably more than we knew before. So where he was living in 1901, where he was living in 1911, Mexborough, exactly where I am right now, which is, I think that's so strange. And then his parents, his siblings, and we can now save that into our records. So all the information that they've already built up, we can just move that straight across. So it's really, really simple. Now, the good thing is there's 19 billion records on there, 19 billion, which is just beyond my brain capacity to be able to think how many records that is. It is ridiculous. The way you can take your family back and back and back and add extra things on, so like military documents, photographs that you may have never seen in your life, stuff you might not have known about that person, it brings them to life. I think it's very easy to look at a name on a piece of paper and go, oh yeah, that was my great uncle John. But then to maybe find a photo or find where he was buried, and then be able to go to that place as a result, or see that maybe he got remarried, and all sorts of information that you probably wouldn't know. It brings it to life. That person is no longer a two-dimensional name on a list. It is somebody, it's a life, it's part of your family, and I absolutely love that. Now, like I mentioned, the instant discoveries, the bit where I clicked on it and it just brought up a whole part of a tree that I didn't even know existed for Andy, is so good. It makes life so much easier because rather than going through each individual person, it's bringing out a branch of people. I think it added 42 new people to his tree. It's like a modern day treasure hunt, but with your own family, and I love that. Right, so one last thing I want to do is I want to add some photographs on. Found some photos of Andy's mum and dad. We will, I think that's his mum and dad. Yeah, it is. So we'll move that there. So we've got them as a profile picture. And we'll add his mum together as well. Might just zoom that in a little bit and just put it on his mum. How easy was that? Like literally so easy. Now you can also add, like if you go on the photos, you can colorize the photos as well. So if I upload that same photo again, the one of them which looks like it's at the seaside, and it'll do a bit of jiggery pokery. And there we go, look at that. Oh, you can drag it across and colorize it. And that's so good. Right, I thought I'd just come off the normal view and show it you this way, just quickly, because I thought it'd be easier, because I've just found loads more stuff that I didn't even realise were there. So you've got your little notification buttons up at the top there. So there's 31 record matches. That's for the DNA as well. There's some DNA matches. But I found this little section over here called Discoveries. Now, if you hover over it, it tells you there's record matches there, which I'm guessing is there, but you can link it up to each individual person. So, for example, if we went, let me just try and find one specifically that's going to be the best one. Right, so we've got Anne Ridge, your great-grandmother, born in 1856 in Hatfield in Yorkshire, obviously deceased. And then look, we've got 18 record matches down here. So if we click through onto that, not all of them are going to be right. So for example, that one's North Carolina, but this is where it gets really fun to find out which is which. So there we go, we found one. I've scrolled down past a few and we've got this one. So we've got Anne Ridge, 1857, Hatfield, and she was living in Hatfield, age 4. So then if we review that match, and we can actually look at the document itself as well. So look, they're the people that were living in the household. Anne was only 4 years old. And you can see the actual document as well, with the handwriting exactly as it was. And you can zoom right in. See what, let's try and find them. So where are the Ridges? There, look. So we've got, just here, look, we've got John Ridge, Elizabeth, Harriet, Anne. So Scholar. So obviously the 6-year-old, her older sister, was at school, but she wasn't quite old enough. And I think that is a labourer. So her dad, age 44, head of the family, was a labourer. So it's looking like, what's that as well? Nail maker. So it's looking like in that village where they live in, and the person that lives next door is a miller. So yeah, it's sort of general labouring workers and manual workers that all live on that street together. So it gives you a bit of a picture of what it's like to live in that area at that time with Andy's great-grandmother, age 4. Now, one of the other records that was just below the one we looked at before, same person, great-grandmother, Anne Ridge, Hatfield, 1856, all matches up, is the birth and christening documents. There was 2 of them. I think this one's the birth. But then I found something else that's really interesting. You've got a record detective further down, and basically what it does is matches up anything that matches with the birth. And that's the document we've just added a minute ago, the census from 1861. So it makes life a lot easier. You're not having to search too much. It gives you a good bit of treasure hunting to find all the information. You've still got to link up the dots, but it helps loads. And I think that's really clever. Right, so as you can see, it is amazing. It's not just a bit of kit that's fun for a couple of days. This literally will have you going and coming back to it and back to it and back to it, because you'll be obsessed like I'm obsessed. And this isn't even my family. This is Andy's family. And I'm already thinking, ooh, where did they come from? And ooh, let's have a tinker around with this and see if we can find some photos or military stuff or anything. There's so much information you can find. It's crazy. It's really good. The AI stuff for the photos and the colorization, it just gets me really going, and I think it will for you guys. You've got the same sort of brain as me. You like your history. You're passionate about things like that. We're all a big family as the Findersbeepers family, so I'm interested to know how you get on. So comment down below. Tell me how you got on. make sure you get onto MyHeritage via the link down in the description, because you get your 14-day free trial. And if you want to carry on, you can carry on, and then you'll get a continued discount with us as well. And all the details of that will be further down. And now my laptop's going mental, so we better go back over to the main video. Oh, bear. Oh, what have I uncovered? That is disgusting, bear. They are awful. They're the sort of buttons that I hate. Next up, you guys talk to me a lot about my phobias, especially buttons. And you know what? I've got a bone to pick with all of you lot. Every so often, some Facebook page or something on Twitter pops up where there's a load of stairs with a load of buttons on it. And there's a photograph, and it's... people must have seen it. I think it's at a button factory or something. And there was all these buttons down the stairs. And it makes me feel physically sick. And the amount of times you guys tag me in that photo and send it to me, I just want to kill someone. So please stop. I'm only joking. It doesn't matter that much. It's the physical buttons. Like, if there's a photograph of them, I'm not as bothered. It still makes me feel a bit weird. I don't like it though. So I'll give you a background of where this has come from. So people have been saying, what's the reason you don't like buttons? They ask it quite a lot. And it's because my sister, my older sister, who's 11 years older than me, used to stick them in my ears and up my nose and just torment me with them in general. And ever since then, I've never liked them. And it's not just that. I don't know what it is. Just like, it's just making me feel ill thinking about it. But when you get a button, I don't mind when it's attached to something. I've got no problem with a button on something. Although I tend to shy away from clothes with buttons down the front. I don't really like them. But when they're loose and they've got a bit of cotton hanging out, it's horrible. It just makes me feel funny. I don't know why. It's very irrational. It's not a normal behaviour to feel like that, but I just do. I just feel horrid as a result. So that's where that's come from. The shower curtains, I've got a fear generally of being trapped in water anyway. So I think just the feeling of it being round you, stuck to your skin, water running down you, and feeling trapped, I think that's all that is. It's nothing exciting. Cotton wool. Just the thought of cotton wool, it makes me want to bite my cheek or bite my tongue thinking about it. It makes all the hair stand up on my arm, but I've shaved them off. But yeah, it makes it all stand on end, and just, and the thought of it in your mouth is just probably the worst feeling, the worst thought I can ever think of. So yeah, you guys have all shared your experiences about that. I really, really do appreciate that it's not just me out there. There are other people, but also some people just don't get it. They don't realise, they don't understand why it affects me like it does. I just don't like it. Anyway, moving on. Look at this. The Peep Show. Another one of the items that sort of came up quite a few times, people were really interested in, was the Peep Show book. Now, I guessed that it was sort of like early 1900s, late 1800s, and I wasn't far off. Amusement and instruction for the young, it says, with 330 pictures. I wonder what year it was from, this. It's all coming to pieces, which is a shame. Oh, look at the illustrated pictures in here, though. These are really good. I reckon this is early 1900s, late 1800s, this book. As far as I remember, it was the 1870s it was first published. But I think it was published in paper form. So it was almost like like a pamphlet or a magazine to start off with. Does it say the date? I'm just thinking with the front plate like that, because it's got that stuck on. And if it was later, it'd be in one piece. What a shame. What an absolute shame. Right, let's have a look and see what else there is. And then it will have been turned into the big book that I'd got. All the different episodes, all the different little bits will have been put into one big book. So probably by the time that came out, it will have been the late 1800s, early 1900s. That seems to make sense, because we have had a couple of people saying, oh yeah, you were right, but it's like the 1910s. So I think it was just, they started off little, almost like if you get a newspaper, for example, and you get a little pamphlet inside it, they've got all of those and put them together and made a big hardback book. And it's beautiful, such a good book, such a shame that it's getting lost. And all the pages were starting to come out, which is terrible, really. But yeah, 1870s is where it started. There's a little fly flying around this room and it is doing my head in. It's probably because nobody's been in here for weeks and the bin will stink and there'll be fruit in there and it's like a little fruit fly. But you'll not be able to see it, but it's doing my head in. I can just see it whizzing round. Anyway, let's have a look what we've got next. And then, oh, there's a hat on the bed. I'm surprised you've not put the hat on the bed on. Right, so next up was my little Easter egg, my little tribute to Andy. He's not dead. A few people are like, is he dead? And that's why I put the writing on there saying he's not dead, because I knew it was a little bit like a tribute to a dead person, but he's not dead. I just don't want new subscribers to come along and not know who he is. I want there to be a reminder in there of who he is. While he's gone, hopefully he's not going to be gone that long. It could be weeks, it could be months, it could be longer. I don't know. So I just want to keep him alive on the channel. It's his channel as much as mine. And even though, like I said earlier on, I can get off and do more now because he's not there, ultimately, when he comes back, it's his channel as much as mine. So I need to keep him at the forefront of your mind. And new subscribers coming on, going, oh, who's this guy? Looking back at the old videos and realising who he is. So, yeah, I know it made people quite emotional. I think people quite appreciated me doing it. And I'm glad I did. And I'll probably continue to put little things in there. Maybe not as long as that one. Just to remind you that he's still there. He's still knocking about. He's not 6 foot under or anything like that. Now, this next bit, I have to say, I am quite convinced. So we've had quite a lot of people saying, oh, there was whispers, there were voices, around the time I was looking at some of the photographs. And actually I've listened to it and I can hear sentences that seem to make sense in my head. Now, I don't know if you've watched the thing where there's like, I can't explain it, it says green needle and something else. I can't remember what the other sentence is. But basically, when your brain is told that something is being said, then you hear it. So there's it's going to do my head in now what the other thing is. But basically, shall I try and find it? I'll find it on my phone. That probably will be easier to explain. So, green needle. Right. I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put a clip in. Basically, your brain will either hear brainstorm or green needle, depending on what you're looking at written down. So if you have a play around with that, you'll realise whatever you read is what you hear. And it's really strange. So I don't want to say what I can hear in our video with what's being said. But I definitely hear 2 sentences, and both of those make sense to what I'm talking about, which is really weird. I think that's really, really strange, but I don't want to lead your brain into thinking, oh yes, I can hear that. So comment down below what it is you hear, and I'd be interested to know. I wonder who these are. These are the ones that are like, who are you? They've been blown up from old photos. I'm guessing it was like somebody's mum and dad, but from a really, really old photo. And finally, the attic. So this is where most things were talked about. People talked about this room quite a lot. Attics are either amazing or awful. Oh, Bear, you need to be careful up here. Be careful, boy. Oh, look at the beef flavour Wotsits. For a number of reasons. One, people didn't understand what Wotsits were, which is, I suppose, if you're an American or Australian, you might not know. So they're just like cheese puffs. I think you have cheese puffs. It's the same sort of thing as that. So they're just crisps, but they were beef ones, so they're like beef puffs. Weird. Anyway, that was the first thing. Second thing, me falling through the floor. Oh, look at these toys as well. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, that scared me. Breaking that floorboard. The amount of people that messaged me personally saying you need to take somebody else out with you. You need to make sure that you've got this, that and the other, night vision, oh God, all sorts of stuff. Right, doesn't matter if that other person's with me or not. If I fall through those floorboards, I'm through the floorboards. It makes no difference at all. Yes, they can ring the police, not the police, the emergency services, but people know where I am. People check up on me generally, message me anyway, and I always tell people when I'm back home safe. So here's what it is. Accidents can happen anywhere. Literally, I could be driving to the place and meeting somebody there. If I have a crash on a little back road, it's just the same. Is what it is. I know the risks, I know the dangers, I know you all care for me, and I know that's why you're saying it. You're saying it because you genuinely care, but it's just the risks. I'm afraid it is what it is. And the last thing is something that I was very stupid about. So the thing with the bow on it and the whizzy roundy bit that I shouted Bear because I thought he was going to chop his nose off. What the hell is that? It's got like... Just a minute. Look at that. It's like a bow thing that you pull up and... Bear move. It's a bow thing that you pull up and down. And it cuts through. What is that for? Was a seed thing. So basically you do this and then that spins round and the seeds fly out all over behind you and you plant your seeds. The thing is, this is why I'm stupid, it actually bleeding said it on the bottom. If you look back at the video, you can see across the bottom it says exactly what it is. And when I slowed it down, I was like, how did I not see that big label, big sticker? I have no idea. And also, that was the part of the video where it wasn't very clear because when I fell through that floorboard, I changed the settings slightly and it just wasn't quite as good. Now that didn't stop my eyes working, so how I didn't see that, I don't know. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I am going to try and do these more. Like I said, I'm going to do them. If there's a video, for example, and not a massive amount happens, or you talk about one thing and nothing else, then I might not do one. I might do a historic one, look back at one of our old videos, or I might start doing more and try and do a couple a week or something like that. We'll see. Depends what time I've got. It is time consuming. Right, I will see you soon. Hopefully I'll see you in the next Explore. We've got a live this week. Fingers crossed, as long as I get in where I'm supposed to be getting in tonight or whenever. So yeah, I'll see you then. See you later. Bye-bye.